delights because these lyrics, again, it's one of these things you just think, my goodness, if you were to give this song, and you've got to imagine it now, so we're opening up Act 3, Scene 1. Macbeth is now king. He's about to have his big state banquet coming up to celebrate his coronation and becoming King of bonny Scotland. And, you know, he's about to bump into his good friend, or maybe not so good friend, Banquo. You know, and as he's standing there, I think this song might kind of play in his head. Hope it doesn't buffer. Oh, see, we've got a bit sort of, oh, don't a bit soulful in Scotland. For myself, bangs on the wall. Off he goes. Soulful vibe at this point. So you get the idea. Somebody who is a bit of a know-it-all, somebody who's got supreme power, that kind of idea. That's what we're looking at now. Okay, and I think that fits in rather well with your man Macbeth. Okay, so just get Lottie's and Christian the screen back. Keep them. Let's share that one. So it is coming up to that time when we mangle the words of Macbeth once again, or Shakespeare, should I say? Now, we're going to split this scene into two parts over a couple of lessons, sort of thing. And you know, I say always have those lyrics from Stevie Wonder at the back of your mind. And then just think, again, we'll come to the element a little bit later once we've been through this first section. And here it opens up with Banquo on stage, and he and Macbeth have a bit of a chat, conversation, an interesting conversation. Now, remember earlier in the play, they were best buddies. Yeah, been through battles together. You know, fought for Scotland together, met the witches together, and these sort of prophecies begin to come true, sort of thing. And we open up with a little soliloquy from Banquo, where he begins to reveal what he's thinking about. So, who will be my Banquo today? Ah, I'm looking at, who am I looking at? Oh, I don't know. Nathan. Nathan will be my Banquo. Who will be my Macbeth? I wonder. Who haven't we heard of for a while? George. You can be Macbeth.
Right.
That's all right. Oh, I said with much enthusiasm. Lady Macbeth. Natalie, could you do any Lady Macbeth for today for us, please? Thank you. And I do think that's all we need. Yes, we do. We're going vertical today rather from side to side, so that'll make life a lot easier. So let's just run through this. Okay, so we're in Macbeth's castle, which is now the king's castle, and Banquo begins so.
Now, weird woman from placed most wildly said it should not stand in my posterity, but that myself should not be the root and father of my. There come truth from them as upon thee, their speech is shine. Why by the verities on me made good? May they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope, but hush no more.
So trumpet sound, in comes Macbeth as the king, Lady Macbeth as his queen, followed by his courtiers and entourage. Macbeth.
Here's our chief guest.
Lady M.
You've been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feast, and all things.
Tonight we'll have solemn supper, sir, and I'll request a present.
Banquo. 'Tis you.
Let your hands command upon me, to which my duties are with most indocile tie forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon.
Aye, my good lord.
We should have else desired your good advice, which still hath been most brave and prosperous in this day council that we'll take tomorrow. Isn't while you ride.
Could you sound more bored? Really? Could you sound more bored, George? I don't think. I think that level of boredom is pretty flatline. Banquo.
As far, my lord, as we'll fill up the time, twixt this and supper. Not my horse the better. We can borrow the night, the dark hour, of course.
Pale not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
I can't take no more, George. Just hold your horses for a sec, yeah? We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention, but of that tomorrow, when wherewithal we shall have the cause of state, craving us jointly. Hie you to your horse, adieu, till you return at night. Goes Fleance with you?
Aye, my good lord. Our time does call upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell. Off pops Banquo. Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves till supper time alone. While then, God be with you. And everybody goes apart from Macbeth, left with his attendant. Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those men, our pleasure. Kimmy, be an attendant.
They are my lords without the place gate.
Palace. Yeah. Bring them before us. To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valour to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked. It is said Mark Antony was by Caesar. He chid the sisters when they first put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then, prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown. and put a barren sceptre in my grip, thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind, and for them the gracious Duncan have I murdered, put rankers in the vessel of my peace only for them, and mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seed of Banquo's king, rather than so come fate into the list and champion me to the utterance. Who's there? Right, and I'm going to pause at this point. I'm going to look over because there's quite a bit going on here. What I want you to do for me now, and if you just jot it down the side, you know, of that part of the window there, I want you to sum up in, either something like 3-4 bullet points. What's just happened in that section of the scene? What's taking place? How is the plot developed? Who's thinking what? Who's up to what? Who's doing what to who? As quick as you like. I'll give you 5 minutes. You okay, Ellie? Yeah? Apart from the obvious pain. Yeah. You didn't happen to see Kiva on your travels down there?
No.
No? She might get sent to sick bay then. Is this something that you picked up at school today, or was it? Did you come into school in so much pain? That was very brave of you, but maybe not the best thing to do.
No, it's got worse. It wasn't as was.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's that little section we've just read so beautifully, all of us together? I want you just to sort of, as Natalie said, just summarise key events, what's taken place, what's happened. How have things developed? Let's see how much of that you got. Pretty straightforward, I think. And there's something fairly big that Macbeth has just decided to do. Oh, what is it with these pens? That's all I ever hear.
Put it on the top of my device and just.
Don't put it on the top of the device then.
It's how you charge it.
Eh?
It's how you need to charge it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bit of a flaw, isn't it?
Then you can like stick it there, but there it needs to charge.
Yeah. Couple more minutes, maybe, max. Got your ideas down, Matthew? Very good. Very good. Kimmy, yeah? Oh, yeah. Okay, let's begin to rattle through this. So, Matthew, just give me one thing that you've jotted down about what's happening here.
Lady Macbeth and Macbeth plan to hold a banquet for the.
Okay, yeah.
Her actual name,
She's always Lady Macbeth, yeah. We don't get Christian names. It's like we don't know Macbeth's first name. You know, we don't. No. He might be, he might be George Macbeth for all we know, or Leon Macbeth, or Nathan Macbeth. Highly unlikely. Jimmy Macbeth, as it's in Scotland. Yeah. Yeah. So they're holding this banquet to celebrate. Yeah. Yeah. Kimmy, one thing that you've jotted.
Didn't they say that they were going to find the son of Duncan?
Well, it's about going to sort of track down, yeah. Okay, George.
He's meeting Banquo.
Hmm.
He's meeting Banquo.
Well, they're having a conversation, That's not as much as meeting him. He's having a conversation. Nathan.
Always questioning why the witch.
Ooh, good. Yes, that's a bit meatier, isn't it? Yes. Natalie, what have you got?
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much.
Yeah.
My goodness, we mustn't lie. Right, can Emily build on something that Nathan has just said here? Because it's not just that he questions about the prophecies coming true.
Question.
Does he accuse Macbeth of having hand in it?
I fear thou didst play most foully for it. What does Banquos?
Oh, he thinks that he thinks blaming Macbeth to kill the king.
Yeah, he thinks that Macbeth is either, he's killed, he's murdered Duncan. Thou plays most foully for it. Forgot to ask. Lottie. Come in, Lottie.
Yeah.
Ah, thank you. What have you got for what's happened in this part of the play?
It kind of looks like they're not quite, or Macbeth is not, or Banquo is not really treating Macbeth as a friend as such anymore. He's definitely addressing him as he would a king, and not as a friend.
Yep. Right. Anything else you think is going on here between Banquo and Macbeth?
They're not like the dynamic of the friendship is just like.
No. Yeah. They're deeply suspicious of each other, which we're going to come across in a little minute. We'll go look at it in detail. George? No. I don't recall seeing that in the play. Cool. Yeah, you did. You did. You've all missed something very profound. I want to see gasps of amazement on your face, of shock, because you've missed such a pivotal thing. Macbeth had just made up his mind to kill Banquo.
His son as well.
And his son. Yeah, I mean that's pretty monumental, isn't it? That's right, Why kill his son? He's a child. About 10.
Because his son will try and get revenge.
Oh, his son won't just try. Excuse me. Yeah, his son won't just get revenge. According to the witches, what will his son grow up to do?
King.
Become king. And what will he do when he's king? Well, he'll have a Mrs. King called a Queen, won't he? And what will Mr. King and Mrs. Queen have between them?
A child.
Or more. Yes, they'll have children, and as long as one of them is a boy, he then becomes king after his dad. And then if he goes on and has children, he goes on to become king after his dad, and so we have a dynasty of kings. Martha?
You said and more, I thought you meant to do something else. I was like, what more can you have other than kids?
We can have more than one, can't we? So, let's begin to go through it. So, shh, Ellie. So, Banquo begins here with a soliloquy. Thou hast it now, King Cawdor Glamis all, as the weird woman promised, and I fear thou playest most foully for it. Here he is, openly suspicious. Well, I say openly. In his own thoughts, he is deeply suspicious. Oops. And obviously we have the what do we call it? The prophecy just in a triplet there. But notice it goes backwards. You know, when the witches met him, he was referred to as, you know, Thane of Glamis, Thane of Cawdor, and King hereafter. Banquo inverts that and does it in reverse from the greatest to the lesser. You know, King, Cawdor, Glamis, all as predicted. Yeah. However, this makes him begin to think about other things that the witches said, does it not, Leon? It does. Give me the quote that shows that that is happening. Maybe. And yet it was said, it should not stand in thy posterity, but that for myself, Ellie, should be the root and father of many kings. Root and father of many kings. He's thinking about the future. Well, that's the case. And already in his own kind of mind, beginning to maybe think about, if this is going to be true, well, what would Macbeth naturally see him as then? If that's going to be, if Macbeth is thinking along the same lines as Banquo, what will he automatically see Banquo as? An enemy. Someone who can depose him in the future. Yeah? Oops. And again, it's that idea about, if it's come true for you, Macbeth, why can't it come true for me? But just as we see with Macbeth, they come at a price. They will come true, but at a price for Banquo. For Macbeth to become king, what did he have to do? Kill a king. And so, and by in turn, what did that do to him? How did that make him suffer? Yeah, and what's happened to his soul? Lost. Yeah, he's gone to hell, isn't it? He knows already, I'm damned to hell. So that's the price he's paid for becoming king. And again, it's that whole thing about, you know, earlier in the play when Banquo was talking about what can the devil speak true? It's this idea, these things will come to pass, but not in the way that you think. And for Banquo, he will become the root and branch of a destiny of kings, but not in the way that he thinks, because he'll have to die for that to happen. That's the price that's going to be paid here. Not giving too much away. And then we see, remember, these used to be two best buddies. Look how they speak to each other. Macbeth, ride you this afternoon? What is that? Question. But look how the question is actually phrased. What would you say about that question? As style? Oh, not a rhetorical. Why do you always say that? When you see a question mark, you know, rhetorical. What's a rhetorical? We do this every time. What's a rhetorical question? Does a rhetorical question need an answer? No. But Banquo clearly has to answer this question because Macbeth doesn't know the answer yet, hence he's asking it. How direct is that question? Very. He doesn't even address him by name. You know, remember, these were two guys who were the best of buddies. It's just a bald, direct question. And of course, as it's the king speaking to him, what must Banquo do? No, I wasn't thinking of that. Does he have any option but to answer? No, he's got to. So that question also is like a royal command.
Why is it bald?
Bald, right. So if you're bald, what do you have? Yeah. Bald, as it is like, as in, you know, if you no hair on, so I think. No, it's not. There's nothing fancy about this. It's just It's just bare, direct language. Yeah. Yeah. There's no what do we call it? Being confused by this question. It's just you know, straight at you. You've got to answer. And look how Banquo answers him. Aye, my good lord. Is that an answer? Aye, it is an answer, Ellie. Thank you for speaking in the vernacular. However, does he give much away, I have to ask you, Ellie?
No.
No. Women say he's being a tad what? No, he's not being sarcastic. He's being very polite, my good lord. However, a word that begins with the E might sum this up. That is not an excited answer, but it is an evasive one. Excited. You're also getting too carried away with George's rendition, weren't you? And why might he give an evasive answer? Oh, not because he's excited, Kimmy, but because he's not got something to hide. Well, I suppose in the way he has. Is he? Oh, he does want to go back. Does he want to give his location away? No. Which tells us that he doesn't, so far as Macbeth is concerned, doesn't trust Macbeth. I beg your pardon. But at the same time, he is respectful. Okay. So shows that. Macbeth tries it by another route, doesn't he? He says, we should have else desired your good advice, which still have been both grave and prosperous in this day's counts, but we'll take tomorrow, but here we'll take tomorrow. And then, so he's having a bit of a kind of normal conversation, saying, oh, that's good, you know, in a way, a roundabout way, saying, oh, that's good, we want you to be here tonight, And then at the end of that, suddenly, what does he throw in? No, I wish you'd look at the text, Kibby. Another question, and again, it's almost like to try and wrong foot, isn't it? He's talking about something, and then from sort of, you know, all of a sudden he just goes, "Oh, is it far? You're right." It's two different kind of conversations going on in the one here, done deliberately, though, to try and catch Banquo off his guard, so he might reveal something before he kind of gathers his thoughts. This is two guys who are being very, very cagey with each other, each trying to sort of psych the other one out. Yeah. Once again, we have the evasive answer from Banquo. Doesn't sort of refuse to answer, but it just says, as far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper. Well, that's not giving much away, is it? He said, basically, I'm going to be gone now, between now and 7 o'clock, because that's when you're having your banquet. Was that a joke? Is that a joke there, Leon? I was just trying to confirm that it was a joke. Well, we didn't hear anything from Lottie. Lottie didn't laugh. Yeah. Yeah. And then, excuse me, and then we hear, you know, the last little exchange between Macbeth and Banquo. And Macbeth then basically says, fail not our feast. What do you make of that? What do you make of that? Fail not our feast. How can that be interpreted?
Show up.
So that would, you're right, because that would then make it a what? A demand and a
Command.
Do you think that with the order that, you know, with the answers that have been given by Banquo to Macbeth, do you think Macbeth is thinking, you know what's going on here, you're working out, you're being evasive. This is a demand, it's a threat, it's an order. Yeah, there's no pleasantry about it. Again, it's very bold, very direct, and it can be taken any way you like. But also, Banquo, it's like almost like, you know, a classic rally in tennis. You know, there's some great shots coming across the net here. You know, this is you know, this is Nadal versus, what's his face, the man from Switzerland. Forget his name again. No, he's not from Switzerland. He's from Scotland. Yeah, yeah. Roger Federer. You know, they had some great duels over the years. Yeah. Or an Andy Murray Djokovic duel, that sort of thing. You know, and it's like they're firing across the net at each other, and Banquo responds with that to that threat. Banquo responds by saying, "My lord, I will not." That "I will not" is delicious because of the comma. It is deliciously ambiguous. Kimmy. No. Well, yeah, because you're on your way to somewhere else, so I don't care by then. No.
We have computer science. I'll just
And get him in real trouble. You know, just thanks to that pause, you know, it makes it. Is he saying, I will not fail the feast? Or is he saying, I'm not showing up? It does. And you see, when I was reading this again, and because I'd thought of my first Stevie Wonder song, I just thought, oh, this would be the song that would be playing in Banquo's head as he is trying to out-psych Macbeth. Okay. Hopefully this doesn't buffer too much. Yeah, it's got one of the best opening riffs going ever. The minute you hear this, you must know this one. It is such a ace song. Of course, it'll be after a word from the sponsors, probably. And again, the lyrics for this just work really, really well. Yes, either that or have you done your whatchamacallit, funeral plan? That used to pop up quite a lot. Very disturbing, you know. Yeah, very disturbing. You know, have you been ripped off in your funeral plan? No.
How are we supposed to know that? We'll be dead.
But you're paying for it beforehand.
Oh.
Oh, that sounds. This is not Stevie Wonder, by the way. Oh, come on. Share. It's not wanting to share the screen. Yes.
Show the donkeys.
Come on.
I've seen that advert, or when there was that donkey thing,
Yeah.
that you're trying to solve.
No.
Oh, it's not going to share. Oh, at last it decides to share. Although it seems to be buffering quite a bit. Come on. Is it sharing that?
Is this it? So,
Yeah. You must know this one.
yeah.
How good is this? But again, wait till you see the lyrics for this. This is so good. This is Banquo. He'd be tapping his foot as he's looking at Macbeth. Unbelievably, in sort of 14th century Scotland, there'd be a brass section in the background as well. Think about this in relation to his mindset. This brass section. Think about Scotland now with this murderous king. That's the witches, things you don't understand. They're prophecies. Oh, don't yawn. It's an all-time classic. Oh my God. You know, musical soul. Oh, what does Macbeth do? What? Is it so? Very important to Macbeth. Look, if he looks at Macbeth, the very thing he might think, the devil's on his way. So those again, that begins to sort of just get us to think about these two characters. Now, the last thing that we're going to do before we break up for half term is we will go through this last little soliloquy, which some of you missed out on here by not understanding. Is where Macbeth begins to make his mind up about what he's going to do about Banquo. And the simplest solution he decides is kill him. That's the best thing to do. But it also shows that he also understands that really already what he's done has been for nothing, because he has a barren scepter in his hand and a fruitless crown. Not a good thing to have. And there, we shall leave it for today. Okay, you may pack away. Okay, Lottie?
Thank you.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed Stevie Wonder more than they did in the room. Although I did see Kimmy's foot tapping.
Maybe that can be Kimmy's solo that he still needs to do.
Oh yeah, that could be it, Lottie. I forgot about that. Yeah, good call, good call. See you tomorrow.
See you soon. Thank you.